welcome back to the channel. Today guys, we're working on the wiring. So previously we got the tons of stuff done, and we got the spark plugs kind of wired up. We gotta still adjust them and maybe actually cut a couple of them. But when I was doing spark plugs, I went ahead and fixed some of the wiring, and I heat shrinked some of this tubing on here, and I really like the way that turned out. So I was kind of like, you know what, I think I'm gonna try and fix some of the wiring, especially because it's just a spaghetti mess right now, and I would like to be able to run some of it up underneath the driver's side fender. I've seen a lot of people do that, so I think I'm gonna attempt to do that. So what I did was I went ahead and followed the harness, and luckily for me, I don't have much besides the headlight connector right here, a random connector down there, and then all the stuff connected to the starter solenoid. I actually need to go ahead and mark this headlight connector. I don't know what that one is. So yeah, let me pull this guy out. Ooh, it's gonna be kind of hard with one hand. Yeah, it's right in there. All right, so I'll pull that one out. I'm gonna label it. My plan is just to kind of pull all the wires out, and yeah, it looks like there really shouldn't be too much besides from the stuff on the starter solenoid. And I just went ahead and marked where they go S and I, obviously for the ignition to start. And then I already cut out all of the alternator stuff because we aren't using it, so it's just kind of there. And we got this guy, which, you know, it's like super poorly done, and the wires are just coming straight out. So I'm just gonna do that because I'm actually not doing much. What's this one? What's this? Oh, that's for the choke. See, we got a random wire right here. The choke, electronic choke. So yeah, I want to try and clean some of this up. Maybe even relocate this guy. Undecided on that, but it would be nice, but I don't know. I'd like to get a better solution. In general, just get rid of that starter solenoid. But I don't really want to hide it. I know some people hide it in the like footwells or inside the car or anything. I don't want it inside the car. I'm doing all the electrical, so I'd rather not have it next to me. Nah, I just don't want it there. So yeah, I think I'm gonna just pull all this wire through right now, try and get everything undone, flip, grab a pair of scissors, get all this done, pulled back out, and hopefully be able to get it back over to the kind of front apron area. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is just drill with my hole saw, like a 1-inch hole, probably somewhere that's already kind of done, somewhere way down kind of in here, out of the way, and then all the wires can kind of come through, push through here. You can't see with the tire, but kind of push through that spot that's already done on the fender, and on the fender apron, sorry. Kind of where that, you kind of see daylight, there's already a hole there for something, I don't know what it is. And come through there, just go up and under these pieces here. And I have a riv nut gun tool, so might be able to riv nut something here, and or maybe even this way or something. And I don't quite know that part yet, but it will require taking off the fender, which is fine by me, not a big deal. And we should be good to go. Actually, I might just take off the tire. It might be easier to lift it up and then get in there anyway. So, all right. Well, let me grab a pair of scissors, start disconnecting stuff, pulling things out, and get moving on this guy. But it should be pretty quick and easy. The plan is just to kind of lay everything out with tape tonight, and then come back sometime when I have a little bit more time to actually get into the rounding it all. So we're back, and we have been playing with the wires. So I got everything pulled out, everything's disconnected. Everything that's going to the front of the car, I just have bundled up right in here, so it looks like a crazy mess. Just kind of because it is a little bit, for sure. This is the distributor wires, so you're going to see the distributor wires. There's just no way around that. Man, there's so many. I have a couple accessory wires, all the headlight wires and everything. And my plan for those is I'm going to drill a hole. We have a nice spot. Sorry about that camera angle. I'm going to use this hole right here. So it comes through right up here. And basically I'm just going to go straight down with a 1-inch hole and cut through there and come up underneath the fender along like the fender wells. And just kind of come up in through here, bring it down and the actual stock location's right here. So what I'm thinking is I'll just bring it down through this corner, and it's just gonna come around this corner here and through this hole for the grill bracket, and then it'll kind of just be ran as stock from there all the way over. But that's gonna clear up all these wires over here, and as you can see, I've had stuff get burned and everything for some reason on these headers. So not really a crazy wire tuck or anything, but at least kind of clean some of the stuff up so it doesn't get burned. I need to go and get a whole bunch more of, you know, this like loom here, and I want to heat shrink tube everything, just because it turned out really professional looking on the distributor, and I don't want to do that for everything else. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. We kind of planned out where I'm going to put the neutral safety switch as well. So we're gonna it's kind of just sitting over there, but it has to go kind of on the rear firewall, kind of right here. So I'm taking a riv nut, can plug it in and kind of bring it over towards the transmission. That way it is away from the headers as much as possible. And then you are going to see a couple wires, which is this little loom right here, these little black hanger clip things, and kind of just runs along through here. And that is for the coolant temperature sensor, the negative side of the coil for the tachometer, the aftermarket tach, and then the positive side of the coil for, I think, keyed switch ignition or something. I don't even remember, I just have it labeled. So you are going to see those three, but it's going to be loomed up like this, and then I'm going to shrink, you know, shrink wrap it and everything. That piece I have is just a little too short, and it's already on there. And then, yeah, that'll be it. So really, we're going to be cleaning up a lot of this area. All this right here you won't really see. It's going to be kind of up and out of the way, which is good. Besides this hood turn signal 1, which we'll have to go kind of back up and over here. And I can't really riv nut that or anything, so it's just going to be maybe in the way, but we'll figure that out. Which is good to get as much of this stuff out of the way, because I do have some future mods I'd like to do in this area. So, you know, as much as we can clean this up and get it ready and prepped, the better this whole area. So get all that done and out of the way. It'll clean up the shock towers, because the wires are burned. So I'm hoping everything works. I mean, all my functions seem to have worked prior, but that's even with that burnt wire and everything. So yeah, we'll just kind of clean it up, make it look a little bit nicer, hide it all, and then I won't have a bundle of wires going from here and then up to the battery. So yeah, unfortunately I don't know how to clean up any of this relay for the fans or the battery stuff. You know, so we got a whole bunch of slew of wires going here, one going to the fans. We got like an electronic choke, which is this one here. Get the layout and not fall on the ground. There we go. The clear coat is so nice that it's sliding right on. I'm joking. So this is a fan switch here. I actually don't remember what this black one is, but it goes to the coil. I don't know what this one is. It goes to the negative side of the coil. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that just goes to the negative side of the coil for the fan. And then we got these guys here, which is kind of nice. That's just the starter cable, and I wrapped that in loom a long time ago. It looks pretty good. And then we actually have the battery cables, and then the last one we have, which is gonna be kind of hard to fish out of here. It's just another wire for the fan to actually turn on the fans and power them on. So some of those you will see. Starter cable, I'm gonna extend it, I think, and drop it straight down and go underneath the frame rail up and over to avoid the headers as well, as much as I possibly can. So actually, I might be able to drop it down below the engine mount and get it in that way. Unsure on that, but we're going to work on getting that away from the headers as much as possible. The start cable for sure. So hopefully we'll be able to have stuff hidden a lot more. I'm going to do some other stuff too, like shorten up this ground cable. I added an extra ground for my alternator. I read online, it's a good thing to do. I don't understand the science or anything behind it, so don't ask me, guys. So, you know, this one's super long. I could shorten that up a ton, and I just have it grounded to the block right here. My finger's out in this bolt, which I'll have to go back in and kind of sand that down a little bit. Obviously, it's painted, so simple stuff, but should be pretty easy, hopefully pretty quick. I think tomorrow I'm gonna go to the auto parts store, might go tonight and grab some of this stuff, and it's just basically gonna be heat shrink tube and everything, laying it all out, making sure everything's gonna reach. And really we're only gonna be cutting just one hole right there and grabbing a little grommet, that way it's not just the metal. And I'm not worried about the structural integrity there, guys. It is actually, these fender aprons are actually pretty strong. Even when I brought down the bare metal and painted them a long time ago, they were actually in really decent shape. They were definitely replaced. We do have some rust bubbling up on the top, but that's super common, so just is what it is. Not enough to where if I put a hole in there, it's, I'm worried about it or anything. So I also don't want to do too much rust repair, because mainly if I start taking this stuff apart, then we're going to be going pretty hog wild. So I want to enjoy it and actually drive it. So yeah, we're getting there. But I'll update you guys probably tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll go from there. We made quite a bit of progress, guys. As you guys saw in the time lapse, I was just kind of wrapping all the wires with this nice loom that you can get from the auto parts store. I got 3/4, 3/8. Stuff's pretty expensive for what it is, so I'm trying to conserve it, but you're going to use it. So I went ahead and got the main wiring harness all wrapped in this loom, which it looks really good now. I might add another zip tie. There's a couple spots where it's kind of coming undone right there, just because of the bends. So probably add another zip tie there, just kind of close that up, maybe one right there. I haven't decided, because I'm going to be drilling a hole through my fender, and like everybody else, mounting it up along the fender well, and then bringing it down and in. For a lot of these ones, I just use zip ties on the ends, just because they're going to be kind of tucked and not really seen. And you can't really get a heat shrink fitting on there, which I did that on my distributor wires, adding the heat shrink tube around it, and I really just like the way that turned out. I think that turned out really good. I got to clean these wires up themselves. These are a little dirty from greasy hands and stuff, but I really like the way that looked. So I wanted to do that where I could. That's what I just got done doing there, was doing it on the battery cable, and just to clean the wire again really quick. I just have some like generic McGuire's detail spray for the cars, and I did leave an inch or two on the ends, and that way there's no confusion as to which wire is positive and negative, because this is my battery cable. And I went ahead and then sanded down the little terminal ends on these guys too. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just kind of going through and trying to clean some of this stuff up. Like all of those I'm not going to even be using, so I'm probably just going to zip tie those down, maybe put some tape or something on them. I don't even know. This goes to the batteries, or positive side of the battery, but I don't really like how that looks, so I'm probably going to solder a new one on there and extend it. This is for the ignition and the switch key power, and it is zip tie a little bit further down, that way I can still stretch them to the left and the right where they need to go, and hopefully not have to worry about that sheeting or whatever that's called coming off. The ground I'm just going to keep black. This is my fan relay. You see previously I used electrical tape. I really just don't like the way that looks, but there's really just no good way to get anything else on there except for the heat shrink tube. So that's what I'm going to continue to keep using. I just think it looks so much better with some heat shrink tube. So I'm going to clean up that one tonight, and then same with the, this is one going to the electrical wires that I got here. I don't know if I'll be able to get a heat shrink tube on that one, so I might just cut that clean, do a zip tie, and then add another piece in to kind of hide that one, and then maybe reroute that underneath the battery tray to make it a little bit cleaner. alternator, I'm just going to keep the same. This is the negative for the battery. I'm going to keep that one black. No, I'm not going to wrap that one. Oh, it's like stuck. It's like stuck on. Oh, there's some wire. There it is. Okay. Oh, that's from the fans. See, guys, I just got stuff kind of in a mess everywhere. So I really wanted to redo all this. So we're going to continue to do that. Here's a random red wire that goes to the positive side of the battery. I'm sorry, negative side. So I'm going to clean that one up. So quite a few things going on, and really just going to clean up most of them that I can. I don't know if I'll have time to do it all tonight, but you know, I'll just keep doing a little bit off camera and just go from there. I actually switched out. I got a shorter alternator ground, but this one's just grounded to the alternator. So that one's gonna land over here. So that one will just kind of go over there. And then we got our starter wire, which, now I'm thinking about it, this one is our starter wire. Oops. Alright, so this is our starter. I could have cleaned that one all the way up to black, but I didn't, so oh well. That's our starter wires. That's gonna go over here. And then we just got our battery terminals. We're gonna clean up. Here's the choke. Choke one doesn't look that great on the end, so I'm gonna go ahead and heat shrink tube that one. Again, it just looks so much better. And I'm gonna heat shrink tube this. Well, I can't really heat shrink tube that blue one, but I can add another piece to this blue relay, which powers the electric fans. And I'll just zip tie it together, so at least it'll make it, for the most part, all the way over here. And then this guy, I don't know if I'll be able to add any heat shrink tube. Actually, I should be able to slide it all the way down for the fan temperature gauge sensor. And that should be pretty much it. And then the white one goes to the one that goes to the coil. So yeah, not too bad. I wanted to relocate this starter solenoid, but I don't think I'm going to. I'm gonna try and get it back here. But once I get everything wrapped up, I'm gonna see if I have enough length without having to extend all the wires and get it back into that corner. It would look really, really good, but I just don't know if it's feasible. Current moments unknown, but yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this today, potentially a little bit more tomorrow, and then the weekend hopefully get most of this wrapped up, and I will update you guys afterwards. Pretty much plan moving forward is cleaning everything up, heat shrinking what I can to make it look really nice, and then just drilling a hole up back over here, kind of just in this area well below the hood hinge. There's already a hole there, but I'm going to drill about a 1/2 inch hole and trying to expand that, and then I'll get a picture of me running it along the fender well. Most people do it along the shock tower brace because there's already bolts there, and you can just tuck a you know, one of those like pipe hanger clips, P-clips is what I've seen them called, in there and call it good. And then I can put another one somewhere down low. I don't know where yet, but I'll figure that one out. Making good progress. I'll update you guys whenever I get stuff ran a little bit better. Welcome back to the channel today, guys. It's been it's about 2 days or so since I've gotten to work on the wiring. So went ahead and got everything pretty loosely finalized. And actually, I'm really happy with how everything's turning out over there. I was able to heat shrink a lot of these, get everything kind of plumbed up, and you know, once it's all, you know, perfect, I know everything works. I might try and zip tie these up a little bit more out of the way, but you know, I was able to kind of tuck all the alternator wires. You don't really see them anymore. Same with the coil and all those wires. That's all looking just way better, especially kind of coming from the front of the car or anything. It's tucked in there way better than it was. I'm not really going for a whole wire tuck, but at least trying to do something. Neutral safety switch, I kind of have that zip tied up here. That way it is nowhere near the headers. It is that black wire right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this black wire right there, and you can kind of see it going all the way down to the neutral safety on the transmission. If you guys saw the videos, I went ahead and put the transmission back in after doing a torque converter install, painted it, replaced basically everything I could without having to actually open up the transmission, mainly because I just want to limp this guy along for a little while I save up to do a manual swap down the road. So we made a few mistakes. I don't know if my car even had it, the oil pressure sending unit wire. So it is supposed to be a white with a blue pink stripe. I found it under the dash when I redid the dash wiring harness a long time ago, and I couldn't find it in the main harness. So either it was terminated at some point or it's tucked in, which then means I would have to take off the wheel and start undoing some of my work on where I tucked up the wiring harness. So don't really want to do that. Don't feel like doing it right now. So we're gonna let it ride without it at the moment. Furthermore, I have a couple things over here that I don't think I labeled well enough, and I don't quite know exactly if I have it correct. The switched on and ignition on little boots here, I had them labeled, and when I took off the labels and I came over to kind of heat shrink everything, I don't know if these crossed or not, so I actually don't know which one goes where. So we're just gonna, turn the key 2 clicks forward, kind of see what happens. I don't have spark plug wires even hooked up. I don't have exhaust. I don't even have the fuel line hooked up. It's just kind of sitting right here. I'll get that in the drainage pan. And then this guy here. So I originally thought this went to the ignition only terminal, and I made this look really good with all the heat shrink tube and everything. Got it all on there. And when I got to the positive side of our battery cable, you can see we have an end right here. And I remember I had 2 when I removed everything and I cut it. So I believe this guy here actually needs to go to the positive side of the battery and have constant power and not ignition on power. So what I'm going to do right now is just kind of hold this out of the way, tuck it underneath, turn the key 2 clicks forward, kind of see what happens. And then the other one I had that I'm not entirely sure about, see, the starter's hooked up, that one was good. I had this other one down here that was alternator ground, so I added in an alternator ground going from the top of the alternator here. From the top of the alternator here, and it's this looped wire right here, and it's black, and I ran it up kind of behind the alternator, and it is this guy right here. It has some white lettering on it, and it's just grounded out to the block with the main engine, battery cable, negative side also grounded together. I could probably put this up and underneath, kind of behind the alternator too. I might do that if I have enough room, but I'm already pretty tight for room on that guy. Anyway, so I have this guy that I was like very confident that this was for the ground because it was completely unplugged. And then this guy right here that says alternator ground, but it's actually going to the positive side of the alternator. So I'm almost thinking I labeled those 2 backwards because if I remember correctly, this top wire was on this top lead right here of the alternator, and that one would be the ground. So I'm pretty sure it's labeled those 2 wrong, but I really don't know until we try to look at 2 clicks forward. Another thing I have a concern, you can see the starter cable right there, a little bit of red. I was a little short on my wiring on both sides of the starter cable, as you can see, which is fine. I'll leave it, and then I can maybe heat shrink some more once I know everything works. The only thing I don't like about that is we're only about an inch or so away from the headers, so I'm really hoping that the headers won't melt that wire. So I think it's just something to keep an eye on. Some things I can do is I can zip tie the starter cable. It's way down in here, you're probably going to see it. Kind of zip tie that up closer to the block, and maybe that will hold it out of the way enough to where I don't have to worry about it. And lastly, the other thing I want to do is I want to replace this positive lead on my battery cable. I'd rather just have a really short one that kind of just goes right here, and I want it to be red. I haven't been able to find a red one anywhere, so I've been to Tractor Supply Co., 2 auto parts stores, and just random hardware stores, mainly Lowe's, because I'm usually there for other things, and I kind of run by and check, and I haven't been able to find any, and the ones online are crazy expensive. So, you know, I want like 1 foot. This is, you know, something I got from, I believe, Tractor Supply Co. a long time ago, and then the terminal doesn't even fit either. So, you know, I really want to get this looking professional and cleaned up, especially because we're spending quite a bit of time on all the wiring as is. But pretty happy with it all. I mean, you know, these wires look really good. I ran, you know, all these wires up and around and good. The coil and everything, tried to tuck in as much as I could, kind of behind the coil and out of the way. So really happy with how everything's kind of looking. I could do more, I really could, but I really want to drive this car. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and get inside the car, turn 2 clicks forward, and we will see what happens. Okay guys, let's see what happens here. We should have a dome light. Oh, no, we don't. Our dome light. My thing was all cracked up and I haven't bought a new one yet. Headliner is pretty good. Still sticking in these like 100-degree, at least 100-degree weather we've had. It's coming down a little bit in a couple spots, but still need to finish it. You guys haven't seen that yet though. So 2 clicks forward. Anything moving? Let's see, radio, nothing. I don't have any oil or anything, so I really don't want to. Yeah, it's completely dead. So I'm assuming my ignition and my switch is wrong. I should at least have, at a minimum, I was hoping that this mirror would come on because it's on switch power, and that always did come on freeze. So let's go ahead, or at least the radio is static. So let me go ahead, switch those 2 leads around, and see if we at least get the radio. Didn't hear anything, any of the relays, nothing kick on either. So I think this is going to be a good place to start. Okay, let's. It's 2 clicks forward. Alright, we got nothing but headlights. So headlights should, in theory, be on. I don't see anything on the dash. No, maybe. I can't tell the sun. I don't see any headlights on my truck. Alright, so we got a few things not hooked up correctly, and to be expected. Or my battery might just be completely dead too. Probably should check that out. Anyway, I'm gonna check the battery, and then we switch the ignition and we switch terminals around. That's nothing. The grounding point on the motor, I felt like I had a pretty good grounding point. Maybe I don't. So I sanded that down and got it in there nice and tight, so it should be good. The ground on this battery cable for the ground isn't that nice though. It's kind of loose, and I can't tighten it anymore. So that's probably not helping exactly. Now it's kind of tight on there. Let's see real quick. Got nothing, unfortunately. All right, now let's grab our battery charger and make sure at least our battery's charged. And start looking around at some of their wiring. This is to the fun part that I kind of knew was going to happen. Was we were going to make a few mistakes. It is what it is. We are going to try and learn from them and get everything squared away. With that though, I'm going to try and figure all this, and once I figure out where I messed up, I'll kind of update you guys. Okay guys, so I forgot, but my light is actually in there, so I should at least see that, and I'm not. So I'm thinking I have a ground issue. I got nothing. Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today guys, it's been, I mean, probably close to 3 weeks since I've touched the Mustang or anything. Been basically 100 degrees or nearing 100 in the 90s for the last couple of weeks. Kind of a strange heat wave we have here. So with that, my HVAC system actually going out in my house, and I got family moving in for a couple of weeks until they get to their house in the area as well. Just a little couple week period before they can move in to their new house that they bought. Anyway, so we're back on the Mustang. After doing all the wiring, I've been doing a ton of work on it. Really been trying to figure stuff out, and kind of been going back through my wires, checking all my work. One of the things I should have done was I shouldn't have put all this loom on here and everything until I really had everything squared away and I knew it was good. That definitely kind of sucks. Trying to peel that back and you know, see what wires are what colors and what goes where. So basically I just grabbed my little 12-volt inline tester. That clip there goes to the negative side of my battery terminal. I started testing everything in various key positions inside the car with the ignition switch, and everything looked like it was okay, but it didn't matter what I would do, you know, the starter would never kick on. So like one does, I turned the internet and started looking around on vintage Mustang forum, and on there I got told you can bridge the two sides of your starter coil, and if the starter and the engine and everything kicks on, then you have a bad starter solenoid. So that's what I did with these big here pair of pliers, channel locks, and you can see I barely touched them, and just because all the amperage at the bottom tooth right there actually got a little bit off. I think it's stuck on one of those sides, so I'm not doing that again. But basically what I did was I touched the positive side of the battery and then the other side going to the starter, bridge that really quick, and I saw big sparks come out, and I heard the engine actually turn over, and I'm not doing it again because it's super sketchy. There's got to be a better way to do it. I don't know. It worked, hopefully. So we're gonna go pick up a starter solenoid and see what happens. Okay guys, so we went ahead and got the starter solenoid replaced. We're gonna try and crank everything over. I think what I'm gonna do, as long as the car cranks over, I'm gonna take it all back off. I'm actually gonna, you know, put something in here to riv nut, because these nuts, you know, this one doesn't have anything to grab. It's like a big self tapper that's there, and I've been reusing it, but in order to make sure that we have a proper ground on the, you know, the back side of the solenoid there, it wouldn't hurt to, you know, put a riv nut in there, and then we should be able then to, you know, actually screw it in there and get it nice and tight with no issues. So that one wire that we had that we were pretty sure goes to the positive side of the battery terminal, you can see I have it bridged. Right now it's just a jumper, and that's because all we're going to do is we're just going to turn the key, see if anything happens, and you know, bumps on or anything. Do you have a key in it? No, I do not. All right. There it is. Let's see. So all we're looking for is just a quick bump, or even if the radio or anything turns on, then we know we should have power. Which we got nothing. Okay, still got nothing. So let's shift it, make sure it's in park, which it is. Nothing. Strange. Okay, well, we gotta figure this one out. Probably be jumping to the internet and looking for ideas. Okay guys, so it's a new day. We went through all the wiring and I cleaned up all my grounds, even from the ground from the old voltage regulator. I have that grounded down in there, and cleaned it up, filed it down, any corrosion or anything in here in the battery cables, and still couldn't quite get it figured out. And then I found a random wire way down here that I have tucked up underneath. I just had a positive, marking on it, like I labeled it positive. So it's like, oh, okay, so that probably went to the positive of the battery cable. As soon as I did that, everything started working. So I need to go get some more actual automotive cable. But now we got voltage. As soon as I even turn it over, there it is, it's going. As you can see, I don't have anything in the car, oil or anything. I'm not trying to really start it. So, yep, don't even have the distributor in. So, we're gonna go grab some automotive wire from the auto parts store, splice that in, some connectors, and we should be good to go. And then I'm also gonna see if they have better battery terminal. I might get ones I've seen online that have spots for additional things as well. I'm kind of undecided at the current moment. So then I gotta get this guy over here. This is a positive for, I believe, the radio, and it needs to have positive contact at all times too. Unfortunately, you can see I just have a ring terminal in there. It doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to probably cut that, splice it, and just put a bigger ring terminal on there to actually fit around that probe, which really stinks because that was a really good looking connection that I made there, but no big deal. Or I might shove both of these in and then bring it over here. I don't know yet, but we gotta get wired. So let's go get some more. All right, guys, so here we are back. It is in. As always, I gotta complain a little bit, but we were able to get it in. That turnbuckle system has honestly just been the biggest flaw. I think they make sockets that you can use, which then means you can use it on a ratchet, which would have made it a lot easier. And just the overall turnbuckle system, I don't know if I got one that's a little weird or what. And the Allen key head bolts, don't like them. You just can't really get in there, and they're aluminum. So as soon as you start doing anything with them, you got to be very careful not to mar them up. And trying to get an Allen key in there sucks. I think they make Allen key attachments that go in your ratchet. If you're gonna do this job, pick up a set. I wish I would have. I don't know if they make them. I'm assuming they do. There's no way they don't. Just trying to get an Allen key in there really sucks. But it all worked out. Pieces, everything looks good. All the instructions were great. This is the belt that I ended up going with. I could only find it offline. I actually got it off Amazon. It's a Goodyear belt. And this size on that guy is a 6PK0978. I don't really particularly like the yellow on it, but this is literally the only belt I could find that was a 6-rib belt and about 38 inches. So you probably got an inch or two adjustability overall, but 38 is where I landed, which is probably where most people would land, which is why I'm surprised they don't send you a belt, or at least a recommended size. But other than that, yeah, it's, I'm excited to start up. Fortunately, my car's not starting right now. Diagnosing some electrical stuff, and I can't start it up for you guys now. But yeah, overall, I would give it probably 9 out of 10. Just me complaining, probably not having the right tool for the job. So quality was great. I'm sure their customer care is great, just based on the quality and what I see online. So probably could have called and gotten a little advice on how to do a couple things I wasn't quite sure about. But good product overall. Can't wait to start it up. As always, guys, please leave me tips, tricks, comments below. That way other people can find these videos hopefully useful along their Mustang restoration journey. And thanks for support. We're getting some views, we're getting some comments. Keep it going, and hopefully we'll be starting it soon.